Looking for the best two-player games on PS5 right now? Whether you are on the couch together or playing online, this list covers something for every type of duo. Split Fiction takes the top spot at number 1 and immediately earns it as one of the best couch co-op games PS5 has ever seen, developed by Hazelight Studios in 2025. Mio and Zoe are two writers pulled into their own sci-fi and fantasy stories, and the game switches between wildly different mechanics and environments constantly to keep both players genuinely engaged. The split-screen design is dynamic, the puzzles require real teamwork, and the entire experience is built so that neither player can simply sit back and let the other carry them.
At number 2, It Takes Two is the co-op game that essentially defined what great two-player games on PS5 should feel like. And years after its release, it still holds up as the gold standard for local and online duo play. Cody and May are a couple turned into dolls who must work together across imaginative platforming levels that constantly introduce brand new mechanics and tools. Every chapter feels different from the last. The storytelling has real emotional weight, and the Friends Pass feature means only one person needs to buy it for both players to experience the whole game together.
A Way Out lands at number 3 as one of the few games on PS5 that is literally designed to be played by exactly 2 people, with no solo option whatsoever from the moment you launch it. The Prison Break story follows Leo and Vincent through a narrative that evolves in genuinely surprising ways, and the split screen dynamically adjusts based on what each player is doing at any given moment. It is cinematic, emotionally engaging, and builds toward a final act that completely flips the tone of everything that came before it, in a way that sticks with you long after it ends.
Helldivers 2 earns its spot at number 4 as one of the most entertaining and replayable two-player co-op experiences on PS5, dropping players into a chaotic third-person shooter where friendly fire is always on, and every mission feels genuinely unpredictable. Spreading managed democracy across the galaxy has never been this stressful or this funny, and the sheer variety of enemy types, stratagems, and mission types gives the game enormous long-term depth for a duo who wants something to return to regularly. It is loud, absurd, and deeply satisfying in ways that few multiplayer games on PS5 manage to pull off consistently.
Number 5 goes to Baldur's Gate 3, which delivers one of the deepest and most rewarding split-screen co-op experiences available on PS5, letting 2 players explore a richly detailed fantasy world where every choice genuinely matters for both of them. The dynamic split screen separates when players are apart and merges when they are together, and the freedom to approach quests from completely different angles makes replaying the game with different builds feel fresh every time. It is long, demanding, and endlessly generous in the ways it rewards 2 players who are willing to actually talk through their decisions before making them.
Overcooked All You Can Eat takes number 6 as arguably the best party game for 2 players on PS5, bundling both Overcooked titles and all their DLC into a single package that delivers frantic kitchen chaos across hundreds of increasingly impossible cooking scenarios. 2 players is genuinely the optimal count for this game because communication feels purposeful rather than chaotic, and the gradual difficulty escalation keeps every session feeling like a real challenge. An accessibility mode that lets you slow down the timers makes it welcoming for players of any skill level, which is a genuinely thoughtful design choice. At number 7, Remnant II is the Souls-like co-op shooter that rewards 2 players who take the time to build complementary archetypes and learn how to cover each other's weaknesses across procedurally generated worlds filled with some of the most inventive boss designs in any action game on PS5. Pair a handler with a medic, and the synergy creates a 2-player experience that no solo build can replicate, and the enormous amount of content across multiple difficulty tiers means a committed duo will be kept busy for a very long time. Drop-in collab support makes it easy to start and stop sessions without losing progress.
Stardew Valley earns number 8 as the most relaxing and consistently pleasant 2-player game available on PS5, handing a duo the keys to a rundown farm and letting them rebuild it at whatever pace they choose together. One player might spend the day mining while the other tends crops and forages, then both meet back at the house farm to compare finds and plan the next season. There is no real way to fail, no punishing time limits, and no skill gap that leaves one player behind, making it one of the most genuinely accessible co-op experiences on the platform for couples and friends of any gaming background.
Sackboy: A Big Adventure slots in at number 9 as the warmest and most visually charming 2-player platformer on PS5, designed so that players of very different skill levels can enjoy it side by side without frustration. The levels are short and inviting, the cooperative mechanics are simple to pick up, and the whole game runs beautifully on PS5 hardware, with vibrant environments that make every stage a delight to explore together. It supports both couch co-op and online play, and the overall tone is so genuinely cheerful and playful that it is impossible not to have a good time with it regardless of who you are playing with. At number 10, Unravel 2 connects two players by a literal piece of yarn, making it one of the most visually beautiful and mechanically distinctive two-player games you can experience on PS5 right now. Every movement one player makes directly affects the other, so coordination is baked into the physics of every platform, swing, and jump, in a way that turns even simple traversal into a shared act. The art style is stunning, the level design rewards creative thinking, and the emotional narrative running beneath the gameplay gives the whole experience a surprisingly moving undercurrent that elevates it beyond most cooperative platformers.
Borderlands 4 takes number 11 as the latest entry in one of the best looter-shooter franchises in gaming, delivering the signature mix of millions of procedurally generated guns, wild humor, and deeply satisfying progression that makes playing with a partner feel endlessly rewarding. Each Vault Hunter brings a distinct skill tree and playstyle to the duo experience, and the complementary ability combinations between two players create a depth of combat customization that keeps even veteran fans invested. The PS5 version runs at 60 frames with strong visual fidelity, and the split-screen local co-op works well for couch play throughout the full campaign.
Cuphead earns the 12th spot as one of the most visually stunning two-player games on PS5, built around hand-drawn 1930s cartoon animation that makes every boss fight look like a moving painting, even when it is actively trying to destroy you. The co-op revive mechanic adds a layer of teamwork to the brutally challenging boss encounters that makes victories feel genuinely earned and shared. And playing with a partner turns what would be an overwhelming solo experience into something you can both laugh about between attempts. The delicious Last Course expansion adds even more content for duos who want to push further.
Number 13 is Monster Hunter Wilds, one of the best PS5 games you can play with exactly one other person, thanks to a hunting loop that rewards two complementary weapon builds in ways that make every fight more dynamic than playing solo. The fully seamless open biomes shift based on weather and ecosystem behavior, making the world feel alive in a way that single-player hunts cannot fully capture. And the variety across 14 weapon types means both players can bring completely different playstyles to every encounter. The long-term build progression gives dedicated duos hundreds of hours of genuinely evolving content to work through together.
LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga lands at number 14 as the best family-friendly two-player game on PS5, covering all 9 films across a massive open galaxy with hundreds of characters and collectibles that keep both players engaged through dozens of hours of content. The drop-in, drop-out co-op design means either player can join or leave at any point without disrupting the session, and the gentle difficulty curve makes it equally welcoming for young players and adults who simply want something fun and low pressure to share together. It is one of the most genuinely accessible two-player games in the entire PS5 library.
At number 15, Diablo IV is the best open-world two-player game on PS5. For duos who want a long, content-rich action RPG they can sink hundreds of hours into together, across multiple characters, builds, and seasonal updates. Playing as a coordinated pair amplifies the already satisfying hack-and-slash combat, with build synergies that give both players a genuine reason to think about how their classes complement each other in endgame content. The seasonal structure keeps adding new story chapters, dungeon types, and cosmetics that bring players back consistently across months of regular sessions.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge earns number 16 as one of the most purely enjoyable arcade beat-em-up two-player games available on PS5, delivering a love letter to the classic 1980s cartoon series with vibrant pixel art, infectious energy, and straightforward co-op brawling that anyone can jump into within seconds. The action is accessible enough for non-gamers and entertaining enough for veterans, and the throwback nostalgia hits different when you are playing side by side with a friend or partner. Short sessions and instantly restartable levels make it ideal for duos who want fun in quick bursts rather than long sittings.
Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime takes number 17 as one of the most underrated two-player co-op games on PS5, putting both players inside a neon spaceship that requires them to constantly switch between different stations to manage shields, weapons, and engines simultaneously, while navigating waves of enemies across colorful cosmic levels.
The coordination required to keep the ship functioning creates some of the genuinely funny and chaotic moments you will have in any co-op game on PS5, and the charming visual style and soundtrack give it an identity that makes it hard to put down once you start playing together.
At number 18, Elden Ring Nightreign is a standalone co-op adventure set in the Elden Ring universe that streamlines the brutal From Software formula into focused 2 or 3 player sessions built around distinct character archetypes with unique abilities. The roguelite structure means every run through the nighttime survival gauntlet feels different, and 2 players who learn to combine their Nightfarer abilities effectively will find an enormous amount of depth and replayability in mastering the encounter design. It is one of the most exciting new 2-player co-op experiences released on PS5 in 2025 for players who enjoy challenging cooperative games with high skill ceilings.
Haven earns the 19th spot as one of the most emotionally intimate 2-player games on PS5, following a couple named U and K who have fled civilization to live on a forgotten planet together, and the entire game is designed around the idea of playing as 2 people who genuinely care about each other. The gliding and combat systems are built so that both players are always moving together, and the relationship dynamic between the characters is written with unusual warmth and authenticity that makes the story feel genuinely personal. It is a local co-op only experience, which makes it especially meaningful as a game to share with someone close to you.
Spiritfarer takes number 20 as one of the most emotionally rich and visually beautiful 2-player games available on PS5, casting both players as fairy people for the recently departed, who must help gentle and memorable spirits complete their unfinished business before crossing over. The farming, cooking, building, and exploration systems are all presented through a cozy management framework that never feels stressful or demanding, making it one of the most genuinely relaxing co-op experiences on the platform. The emotional storytelling and stunning hand-drawn art make this a game that stays with both players long after the final spirit has been sent on their way.
Escape Academy arrives at number 21 as one of the most clever and original 2-player co-op games you can play on PS5, built entirely around escape room puzzles that require genuine communication and collaborative problem solving to complete before the timer runs out. The variety of themed rooms keeps the challenge feeling fresh across the full game, and the difficulty scales naturally so that both veteran puzzle enthusiasts and complete newcomers can find meaningful engagement in the experience together. The online co-op option and the Friends Pass feature make it one of the most accessible 2-player picks on this entire list. Human Fall Flat earns number 22 as one of the funniest and most unpredictable 2-player physics games available on PS5, dropping both players into abstract puzzle environments as wobbly human characters whose bodies are entirely controlled by physics in ways that make even simple tasks collapse into memorable chaos. The puzzles have multiple valid solutions, which means 2 players will almost never approach a problem in exactly the same way, and the frequent moments of accidental comedy are genuinely impossible to manufacture in any other kind of game. New community-created levels continue to keep the content supply fresh and surprising.
At number 23, Portal 2 remains one of the greatest 2-player co-op puzzle games ever designed, and its inclusion here is non-negotiable for any list of the best 2-player games on PS5, giving its genius cooperative chamber design that forces 2 players to think spatially together in ways no other puzzle game has ever fully replicated. The writing is brilliantly funny, the portal mechanics create genuine eureka moments when a solution clicks, and the relationship that develops between the 2 robot protagonists in the co-op campaign is quietly one of gaming's most charming character dynamics. If you have not played this with a partner, you are genuinely missing out.
Moving Out 2 takes number 24 as the chaotic physics-based removal co-op game that turns the simple task of transporting furniture into some of the most reliably funny 2-player moments you will have on PS5 in 2026. The levels throw increasingly absurd moving scenarios at both players across a range of wild environments, and the collaborative chaos of trying to coordinate throws, carries, and vehicle loads without destroying everything creates a rhythm of failure and success that is endlessly entertaining. The accessible design and short levels make this a strong pick for casual sessions, and for playing with partners who do not consider themselves regular gamers.
Rounding out the list at number 25, Trine 5, A Clockwork Conspiracy is a visually breathtaking puzzle platformer that gives 2 players distinct hero abilities and asks them to combine those tools creatively across a gorgeously handcrafted fantasy world full of environmental challenges that scale in complexity and ambition throughout the campaign. The physics-based puzzle design means most problems have multiple valid solutions depending on how both players choose to use their characters. And the fairy tale atmosphere and orchestral soundtrack give it a tone that is genuinely distinct from everything else on this list. For duos who want something beautiful, thoughtful, and unhurried, it is a perfect recommendation.